Hello and welcome to another episode of One-on-One with Glen and Brent.
I'm Glen.
I'm Brent. And we're here to talk to you about 4,000 titles. It's a different show.
It's a different show, different men.
All right. Well, we're here as always to discuss our Louisville basketball Cardinals. Coming off of an interesting week. This was a 3-game week. We ended up coming home with 2 victories and 1 loss.
Yes.
The loss, a stinging victory for the... Boy, I can't talk at all today. A victory for Clemson Tigers, but a stinging defeat for us.
Yeah.
Now, we did win at NC State, who we seem to have their number pretty well. But Clemson came up short. I believe the reason we came up short is that we played the worst game we've played all year. Could not, as my father would say, hit the blue side of a red barn.
Well, the Clemson game, I think was very instructive, very, very interesting.
Let's hear how interesting it was.
Well, every team is going to have a game where they can't hit anything, and that happened to us. And we almost overcame it in the end, which is a good thing. But what it reminded me of was the fact that we're not very good defensively, at least on the perimeter. So if we're not hitting shots and we're not creating turnovers, it can be a slog.
Yeah.
Because we're not creating many points in other ways.
We're not getting any transition balls there, which is where we live. And I agree. Do you think it's still a matter of the young team still learning the defense at this point? I mean, I know that Rick has spoken about some issues bringing the younger kids along, learning the defense. It's January. We tend to suffer a puzzling loss in January. That's pretty traditional, but is it just a matter of learning it? Do you think we'll get it together in March?
I don't know if our personnel is really designed to have, the bulldog defense on the wings. Trey Lewis doesn't seem like a great on-the-ball defender to me. Damian Lee definitely is not. Quinn Snyder, not really. I think Donovan Mitchell will, but not this year.
Yeah.
Deng Adele,
superstar.
Deng Adele apparently is a pretty good defender, although we don't really know.
Barely seen him, yeah.
So I think if we're going to be a great defensive team, and we're good at times, it's going to come more as a team effort rather than individual efforts.
Well, I'll say this about defense. I think 2 things that are definitely hurting us. Mango, still being on the bench. Mango is, the
anchor that we don't have.
Yeah. He's a defensive leader. He's a hustle guy, too. He puts it all out there all the time, all energy all the time. So we're still missing his leadership inside, I believe. And the other most troubling thing, Chinanu and foul trouble. The difference in how the game goes is night and day, depending on whether or not we can keep him on the floor. What do you have to do to get him to stay out of foul trouble?
That's a good question. He's doing a few... he's having a few less episodes of the bad screen where he gets called, moving. But here recently he's been doing other kinds of fouls, getting himself in trouble. So, I don't know. I think he's a smart guy. I think he'll overcome some of it. But really, to me, it's the defense from the guards that bothers me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but that being said, we still could have won that game against Clemson if it weren't for the fact that we missed a million threes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were open.
And did we end up with 1 3 before the game? How many did we end up? 1 or 2?
1 or 2 at the very end.
Yeah, it was puzzling. It was,
and one of them was from Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just stepped up and you're like, no, okay, yeah. I thought he played well. I think he could be a bright spot. Yeah, it was a puzzling game, and that our shooters, so far this year we have totally depended on Lee and Lewis, and they were just not giving us anything that day. Which is going to happen from time to time. You're going to go cold. But it's, at the same time, could not hit a 3, and the defense was just not working at all. So it was a perfect storm of all the things that we do badly. But as you point out, silver lining, we still came within 2 points there at the very end on the road, and we managed to rally at the end.
And I think a lot of it had to do with just the Clemson was they had the right game plan and they seemed to have the right personnel to do exactly what they needed to do, which was keep us out of the lane, prevent us from hitting threes, and find enough shots for themselves.
Yeah, no, I think you have to give the credit to Clemson for sure. So at this point, I'm not sounding the panic alarm.
Not at all.
I still feel good. We have 3 losses on the year now, and a combined total, I think, of less than 10 points still at this point.
I think Clemson right now, their RPI isn't so good, but I think they'll be better by the end of the year because they're starting to beat some teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the ACC is going to shake out a little bit differently than people ultimately saw it. So, a January loss, but not a terrible one, a road loss. As you pointed out, we still split back-to-back road games in the ACC. That's something. We still have to defend the home turf and try to steal 1 or 2 more on the road, I think.
But I will say, on the bright side, I think we're a good team and there's no need to panic. On the dark side, we still don't have a good win.
No, we as far as seeding and everything, which is suddenly becoming more pertinent. We still do not have our best win is Wake Forest, which is sobering. So we have an opportunity. We have a chance now to knock off a Pitt team that's ranked just above us. That's coming up this Thursday. How do you like our chances against Pitt?
Don't know a lot about Pitt, but I've heard that they are the best Pitt team that they've had in a while.
Which you seem to hear from time to time, and. What does it really matter, honestly? Jamie Dixon?
Yep. I wish I had Jamie Dixon hair.
Do you? No, you don't. All right, well, I'm going to predict a victory against Pitt. We're going to come home angry and hungry.
I think this team will have great success at the end of the year, but I think we're going to lose to Pitt.
I do think we're going to lose at least 2 more, but I'm not saying Pitt. At home, no.
This is the kind of year when Louisville does badly and everyone says, what? Fire Rick? This is a terrible team. Why are we even watching this?
Yeah.
When's the football starting? And then in a few weeks, we beat Duke. We beat North Carolina. We're going to lose to Pitt.
Okay, well, that's how, you are right. That is how January, early February tend to go for us. Lose 2, sometimes 3. People lose their shit. Everyone jumps ship, starts becoming UK fans. But this year, still feel like we can edge out Pitt. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some, like Boston College or somebody comes up and knocks us off. Something a little more unexpected.
We're not going to lose to Boston College.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to lose to Boston College, but win at Pitt. At home against Pitt.
That's what you think.
That's our bet. We're going to wager on that. Odds to be determined later. All right. Here we come to the fan favorite segment, the unnameable college basketball encyclopedia challenge, where I will rifle through the pages, randomly select. Random is a big deal on our shows. I'm going to randomly select a page, and Glenn will then tell us everything he knows about the team that I have randomly selected.
I've spent my whole life in preparation for moments such as these.
Glenn, what can you tell us about Princeton, and do it quickly?
Princeton Tigers. They have an offense that is a motion offense that involves a lot of passing and a complicated structure. It's a system that is used throughout the basketball world, including places such as the NBA and overseas. I believe your famous coach there is Pete Carrill.
Mm-hmm.
And the Princeton Tigers, and there are no great basketball players from there unless you count Bill Bradley.
Yeah.
And
it says right here, best player, Bill Bradley. Best coach, Pete Carrill.
There are other things I know. Princeton is an Ivy League school where the basketballs they use are not actually orange, they are green to represent the Ivy League.
Nice sunglasses. Okay, so I think Glenn vetted himself very nicely. I think he did a very nice job this week. Much better than usual. Good job. All right. So, thank you for enjoying our show. I assume that if you watched it, you enjoyed it. Please follow us on Twitter at Glen and Brent. I've not updated that in months. How about you? You been on there at all?
I've been on there every week. I'm updating things. Just trying to capture the buzz of the situation. In fact, if you want to talk about the one-on-one buzz, you just write to buzzquestions at hotmail.com. It gives you all the one-on-one news you need.
Here's the Brent Stewart Challenge. Email buzzquestions at hotmail.com, and I will give you $1 American. You have to prove that you're a real person and not anyone in this room sending spam. All right. So follow us at Glen and Brent on Twitter. Please email us with brentandglenn@gmail.com. Because one of them, the names are reversed the wrong way. That's the email, right? Oh, God. Danny, please fix this. Please find us a way out of this terrible 10-minute long Morris. All right. So, email us. Twitter us.
Fax us at 976-BUZZ. Please may have a cover sheet first so we know.
We'll know which mailbox to put it into, right?
Right.
If someone will at least leave it on the machine, and that's confidential material.
Right.
All right, well, okay, goodbye.
Telegram, gentlemen, telegram.
There's a telegram coming in. Does that mean I owe someone $1? I'm not actually going to pay any money to anybody.
You have no money.
No.